Hey everybody, it's Roddy Meyer, Jackson County resident. Hey, today I'm going to put out part 2 of the commissioners meeting from August 22nd where they discussed the budget. Again, it's an unedited video. You can decide for yourself if it's good, if it's bad, or whatever it is, but I think it's important that we continue to put these videos out and that you, the people of Jackson County, can see what goes on. I hope you enjoy it, and I hope you get involved. See ya.
Is there any, there being no additional comments from public, the other commissioners, let's see. Is there any other discussion concerning the county budget? We're going to move into the county budget portion of that. Rex, I believe you wanted to speak. Go ahead.
All right, so 2022, the budget was $16,665,352. 2023 is $18,418,350.
Can you step up here a little closer? It's hard to hear you.
Okay. And then in 2024, the budget jumped to $32,612,260. And in 2023 or 2025, the budget of $23,226,339. And you can address how we went from 18 to 33 back down to 23.
Yep.
I would like that. And then 1 months back. 2023 is very forward. I want to make sure this is correct. It was $7,873,449 in the year 2023. This year, you'll be up to unencumbered cash balance of
So we'll answer the first one.
So anybody can follow what he's asking, and I can show you pretty quickly the big picture. If you look on your publication, and you look in the middle column, on the 24 years, what happened was the first year I was involved in the budget, so 2024 budget. By statute, the capital improvement fund does not have to be budgeted. So that's the way we've been operated. I don't know how long. It's just actual activity on the current year. No budget was put into this document. Okay? So if you look at the middle column, you go down to the very bottom, before you get the total there, you get $1,000,005 of risk management transfer and $5,097,097 of capital improvement expenditures. And what had happened was there was no risk management fund set up either. So what you have right now between employee benefits on their health care and your property insurance. Your property insurance alone went up, I don't remember what the fund was, $64,000, like we were talking about property, just on the property account. So what I've done in other counties is set up a risk management fund so that we can actually manage that so it doesn't catch us off guard, some of those expenses. Same thing with the former county clerk actually had health insurance money in the capital improvement fund. We want to be more transparent, so we moved that to risk management. So that's why the risk management is set up. And then you go down below that 27 million total, you see 3,365,852. Those are transfers. Those transfers are shown in the county and the county or city budget are shown as expenditures when they really aren't expenditures. They're just moving it from one fund to the other fund. So if you look at the bottom of that column, it's already down to 23 million, and then you take off another 6.5 million. We're down 6.5 from that, so we're down to where those numbers you're talking about. That's what happened that year. We're trying to get the money where it needed to be in the funds so that you as people would understand, capital improvement is important. Because the thing is, a county can't go have a credit line. So if you get in a bind, you have to have money available to be able to do that. How's that? I don't know if that explains it.
That helps. And so, two things before you ask. One of the things that we looked at was prior commissioners, prior clerks, been here for over 40 years, had saved money, and she was very good at that. But we had a lot of excess cash on hand. For the county, roads had been neglected for years. And so what we thought was the best use of those excess cash was to move those into road and bridges. And I use this example because I think in a little simpler terms. You have a savings account, checking account. We took that money out of the savings account, put it into the checking account, so we can put that money into the roads. Rebuild roads, rebuild Port Rocky, because good roads help economic development. You know, people want to move into the county if they have good roads to drive. And so, utilizing that money that way, we felt like was the best way. We didn't have to raise taxes in order to rebuild miles of road. Linda, I'm going to put you on the spot, but in the last 2 years, how many full miles of roads have we completely rebuilt? Ditches, put gravel, the whole 9 yards.
Usually completely the whole thing, ditching and,
Yeah.
and if we have to haul dirt in, build that up, we have done 45.5 so far this year alone.
So that's completely rebuilding that road. Again, those are the things that have been neglected for years in getting done. And so moving that money is what we've tried to do. So Rex, you had another question?
Yeah, on how much scope money do the city pay out? I know in 2023, he's got $1,700,000, $1,700,000.
Right, and we can provide you with a list, just a short list of that. We actually gave it out to fire departments, we gave it out to cities. We tried to inject it into some of these smaller cities that don't have the money to do certain things. Water districts, Wholesale 18, Jackson 1, the different water districts around, I know they purchase generators, stuff like that. We use some of it for the sheriff's department to help with towers and different stuff, not physically build a new tower, but the work be done. They purchased a generator out of the sheriff's department. I think that was 2 years ago. I think we used some of it. We can provide it to the school. Christie has it available in her office.
Okay, so for 2023, it was 18 million, and then in 2025, it goes to 130 million. 118, 418, 350, 5 million.
Yeah, I think
So I would be glad to put a little Excel spreadsheet together to show why it's that way. It's
Would
not
that be helpful?
spent the money, it's the way we set up the funds. I'd be glad to get a Excel spreadsheet to Christie.
that'd be helpful. Okay. Do you have another? Okay. Sure. Okay. All right, so, hang on a second.
What location is reading from these notes?
The publication page right at the very back, not the very back, on the second back, right there, the publication.
She didn't print the entire, we had to cut 2 trees.
Page 21.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah,
Take a second.
Jake Spalding, hey, I was just curious, can you define what you meant by completely redone roads?
Sure.
Just the definition, I know probably when we fall apart, better still on that.
So-
Just so we know exactly what I'm doing.
Yeah, so perfect example is College Road, north of town. So completely rebuilding the road means going out, taking the ditches, bringing some of that dirt in, hauling some of that dirt off. So putting ground back in the road, making sure the water can get off the road to the ditch to the creek. Hauling in a sufficient amount of gravel, I believe, if it's correct, and I don't do this every day with you guys, but I think typically on a rebuild like that, you're hauling in 3,000 tons per mile.
Yes.
So it's an enormous amount of gravel, but when you haul it in, if you use a sheep's foot, you use a roller, you use water, and you put it down correctly, it stays for a long time. You can't just put out all your tail and just dump it on it real fast. So that's a complete rebuild, stop sign to stop sign. So that helps.
I was just curious, is 254 a part of that model you're referencing?
It is. Yeah, so 254 is one of those projects that's been on the list for a 5-year plan. How many roads?
Some of it drives me every single day.
It is not done. It is not done. So, hang on. We're not gonna do that. We're gonna be in that particular instance, we knew that we wanted to rebuild that all the way north to, what was it, Matt? All the way up to,
We wanted to go all the way south.
there you go. Yeah. Okay, so in this case, with 34 employees, there are times when we have to pull people off the job because we can't commit all of our resources to our men, otherwise the rest of the county kind of goes to the shop. So what we did was we stopped and started. As budget allows, we will continue until we get that project. Okay? That help? Okay.
And I'll put somebody on the spot. Vicki, you back there? Would you talk about College Road, please?
Yeah, my name's Vicki Brody, and I drove through the school district since 2016. And College Road is one of my roads that I come in and out. And I don't know how familiar you guys are with it from the bus barn to 246, but especially at Marvin's Dallas driveway, God rest his soul, it would do this. In fact, the kids got quite a kick out of it because they go, woo! But if you met a vehicle when you went over Marvin's driveway, I worried. I held on as tight as I could do. And then the other thing you have is both Colton and Jackson Heights, cross-country and track runners run that road back and forth. So you're trying to come with a bus and miss some kids going that way and some going that way. And it was narrow and it's widened out and they're able to run over on the ditches instead of in the tracks. And I've never had it as good as I've had it this year. They did a fantastic job.
Thank you.
Yes, also on College Road, it's going to be safety benefit. I-75 is targeted to lighten four lanes from the city with Highway 20. So that's going to help the traffic flow there. We need credit for it, but I can tell you, we commissioners were at all the KDOT meetings pushing to get the lightening of Highway 75. The other individuals got that credit for their so it's going to be a phase where we can route traffic on that way, especially students.
So there's multiple miles of road, another example in the area. We rebuilt it just recently. K Road, we're working on it. There are multiple miles in that process. We're also working on ditching and just putting gravel or keeping up with everything. Again, with 34 employees, it's a struggle. I mean, to take care of what we have, the majority, all but 50, 60 miles of our road, are most of the 50 or 60 miles are chipping seal, the rest of the route or minimum maintenance. So, yes, we
How do you fund your road and bridge department?
funded.
Yeah, how's it funded? Is there a specific tax amount that's allocated to
Part
that?
of the money is tax, part of the money is tax. Part of the money is a 0.4%, 0.44% sales tax. That money is fully road, yes, sir.
Could you expand a little bit on the budget? That actually is part of that with your jail. Is that correct?
I don't think I would have to. I will tell you this, they bring in income, and through that income, it offsets a lot of tax dollars.
No, yeah.
I'm sorry.
No, yeah, I was thinking that's what happened. I was thinking the
Does
jail.
it always, it doesn't pay for itself, but it absorbs an enormous amount of money that taxpayers do not have to pay. And so with that, we still have to fund it with some tax dollars.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, Manor Lake is about to the point where it is self-sufficient, as well as our landfill is really close to that too. So we're getting there where these departments are becoming self-sufficient.
I was thinking this had been several years ago, but I thought the jail actually made enough money to support the sheriff's department. Is that not true?
Without tax dollars?
Yeah.
No, that is not true.
Oh,
I might speak to that.
Yeah.
Okay, actually, this last 2 years, we've been working on the sheriff. The actual gross revenue from prisoner care, which you're talking about, what comes in from out of, like, whether it's the federal government, like, it has prisoners, it's been down about $200,000 a year. So that right there is
Been down, you say?
down. So we've had to make up the difference with
Why is
that
that?
warrant tax.
Is there
What's
a-
happening in these counties is, I mean, this is not just, I have a county, Ottawa County I work on, they had to close their jail because swine has built a brand new jail. And so what happened is all the ones they were housing, they actually lost those. And so what's happening, it kind of depends how many counties, your county is one of the oldest counties to have prisoner care like that. A lot of counties don't have the people because it's a fight to get those prisoners because they pay about, I don't know what it is here, $50
I
a day.
can't speak for the sheriff, he's not in the room at this point, but I do know part of the conversation was some of the federal prisoners that he was housing, some of that kind of went away maybe a little bit. You know, I don't,
Would it be something we could look into to maybe it's not a good idea for the community as well?
a great question for the sheriff.
To house more prisoners and bring more money, if we can't, we have to have more money coming in a facility like that, like Leavenworth, has so many.
A great question for the sheriff.
Maybe you guys could bring that up. No, or do I need to do that?
No, I mean, I don't know where we would house more, maybe the release capacity.
We are in the past.
I can't answer that, I don't know. Again, that would be a great question for the sheriff. Thank you.
I was curious, you stated that 0.04% is allocated to like improving the roads, and that's 0.04% of sales tax, which means that our tax raises don't actually go towards the roads. Is that correct?
No, ad valorem does. Ad valorem would be your property taxes that you pay in. We take that, we divide it up into different departments, and some of that goes to our road crew department. Go ahead, Scott's got a.
If you got your budget, I could show you, like on page 8 is where the road and bridge department's at. So that's where you fund it with ad valorem tax. The other revenue that we didn't bring up, or when you were asking the question, is what's called motor fuel tax. And that's about $500,000 to $600,000 you get from the state of Kansas, and you actually have the fuel tax that's divided across the counties. So that's another about $5 mils you get from the road and bridge to help with your roads. And then if you go to page 12, you see this 0.4% sales tax for roads at the top, and you get about $559,000 in '23 anyway, and it's about, looks like it stays about the same. So that's another road fund. So if you just look at the, then you have, there's a couple line items in the capital improvement fund that are actually road money also, to help with gravel or more than like the 5-year bridge plan. The state of Kansas has an opportunity where you can get a 5-year bridge plan, and sometimes the federal government will pay as much as 80 to 90% of that bridge. So there's a lot of different places.
Yeah, that's a great example. So we have a bridge sitting on the ground up in Nebraska, I think it's still sitting up there, been paid for to go on
254.
54. And it's a narrow bridge, but the State of Kansas Historical Society is holding us up because they say they need another bridge to replace it, to keep it on the Historical Society. So we've been waiting for over a year for them to find that. We've given multiple examples and they haven't followed through, so go ahead, Scott.
I don't want to take much more of your time, but there was a lot of questions about economic development, and I just want to share a couple of things. I've been doing this for 41 years. And so what happens with economic development, it's an incredible animal package, okay? So like, I'm from McPherson County. I live in Galvin, Kansas. If you've been through McPherson, they have an amazing economic development program that's been developed over the years. But the difference there is they have what's called the Board of Public Utilities. That's an agency of the city. They have, at one time, it was the fourth lowest electric rates in the entire United States. So if you have like a Vigo, which just came, they probably have like, I think now it's up to 30 acres under a roof. That is just massive. It's from Germany. But you have to get those pieces in place. And if you want to study it, it's a great one to study. It's called McPherson Industrial Development Corporation. And it's been in place since the 1950s. And that's when this rate, what happened is they made a deal with Evergy. And they actually get this rate at that low rate, but they actually provide the back end if they're short. So there's just a lot of pieces of economic development. I've done Osage County since 1986, and they have their challenges, just like you do. You're on the other side. You know, they have a lot of things they lose to, you know, here. They just set up another, they had economic development. They go from anywhere from 0 to 200,000. So if you had a $200,000 budget for economic development, which looks like that might be what they adopt this year,